भगवंत गुरु चतुषनाम बबुए, इनके पद बंदन किए, नेसत विघ्न अनेक. Sai Ram and my humblest pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swami. My name is Sandhya, and this is the first time that I've ever been asked to talk and share my experiences with Swami. So thank you, Swami, for giving me this wonderful privilege. I was born into a family of Sai devotees. My maternal side of the family were very ardent followers, so I have been aware of Swami since I was very young. I was born in India and raised in Jakarta, Indonesia, until I was a teenager. So I was always aware of Swami being this guru that many of my family members believed in. And my mother went to the Sai Mandir every Thursday, where she became my standard for bhajan singing. I myself didn't sing bhajans until much later in my teenage years, but the memories of attending bhajans and bhajan etiquette was deeply rooted in my mind during my formative years. The first time I saw Swami was when I was 8 or 9 years old at Whitefields in Bangalore, where I finally saw the orange-robed man from a very far distance amongst thousands of devotees. Now, I'm sure there comes a time in everybody's life when one questions their faith in Swami. Even though I knew Swami growing up, it took some time for me to develop absolute faith in him. So back when Swami used to give regular darshan in Puttaparthi, it was all about writing a letter to Swami, and the belief was that if he took the letter from you, then it meant Swami has blessed you and whatever you ask for will happen. My family was going through a really rough patch at that time, so my 12-year-old mind thought, okay, we're going to Parthi, so why don't I write a letter and see if this really comes true? So that was my very first experience of writing a letter to Swami, 3 back-to-back A4 sides, bullet points of all the difficulties that my family were going through and asking him to please solve these issues. Swami was walking at that time, and I remember he took my letter immediately amongst many other letters, just like that in one go. And I remember within a year, every one of those bullet points in my letter were resolved. And that solidified my faith in Swami. It so happened that the contents of my letter was what brought my family to the UK when my father was offered a business opportunity. The second letter I wrote to Swami was when I was 17. It was my 3rd trip to Parthi, and in the letter, I'd asked Swami to please save my cousin who was terminally ill from cancer. And at that time, in 2005, Swami was on a wheelchair, and during those days, Swami used to go into the mandir for bhajans, and it was pretty much an impossible feat to get in. But my aunt, mother and I, with luck, we got the rare opportunity to get into the bhajan mandir. Sat at the 2nd row. I remember Swami was wheeled past me and I held my letter out to him, and he made direct eye contact with me, and he held my gaze for several seconds, but time stopped for me at that moment. And I had never felt anything so powerful. And I remember I was truly scared, was humbled and awed by the power and aura exuding from Swami. Rooted in place, my palms folded and tears streaming from my eyes, I realized that day, that moment, I was truly in the presence of divinity. So Swami took my letter that day, and over the next couple of years, my cousin went through a lot of cancer clinical trials, but the question of his lifespan was forever in my prayers to him. The day before I started my university course, I dreamt of Swami for the very first time. And in the dream, he asked me to follow him, and he walked me through some beautiful scenery. And I kept following him, wanting to ask, but he kept walking away from me. And finally, he halted, and I finally asked, Swami, please, I just want to ask, will Anna be okay? Will my cousin brother, will he be okay? And he smiled at me, and he held his hand up in blessing. And that was it. There was a bright light, and I just woke up with tears in my eyes. And I realized Swami's reply in his silence. And 2 weeks later, my cousin passed away. And that was Swami's way of showing me that he is with Swami, and he will forever be a blessed soul and one with the divine. The important lesson I learned that day is that one must not pray to God for certain things, but rather pray for the capacity to understand his blessings, however and whatever form that it may be. I've since had countless moments of realization that Swami is looking out for me every step of the way. And since then, everything in life, I believe, is because Swami wills it. Every aspect of our life is Swami's gift and blessing. In that way, Swami gives us life lessons, and we must learn from them. The beauty of having true faith in Swami is that feeling inside of you, knowing he's there all the time around you, being your personal confidant, best friend, parent, teacher, God, your everything. You don't need a photo to remind you of Swami, because he is omnipresent. He is within you. You've only